Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you all the steps to install the Peak aluminum stair railing. I have another video on my channel showing how to install the Peak railings on your deck. You can check that one out, but this video is going to focus on the stair railings.
So we've got all the railings on. The deck portion of this railing is done. The last thing to do is this section of stairs. So if you look here, I've got this pre-assembled panel that is meant for stairs. So everything is already set up on the correct angle. You're also going to need a post. As you can see, there's nothing attached to this post. We're going to be installing this at the bottom of our stairs. We're going to run the railing up to the top post on our deck. And to mount the railing, we've got these stair brackets. So we're going to mount these onto the posts, and then we can cut this railing to fit. Okay, so I'm going to mount this stair post. We need to make sure that this post is in line with our top post. I measured over from this stair tread to make sure that they are perfectly in place. Next, I'm going to use my square, and I'm going to place it on the stair tread. This way I can get my post perfectly square. And then I'm going to anchor this in 2 spots down to my deck. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to get this stair railing to fit in perfectly. So first, you want to fully secure this bottom post down. Make sure that it is plumb on both sides, and make sure that your top post is also fully secured and that it is plumb on both sides. Next, the way I like to do this is grab a scrap 2x4, and I like to lay it so that this 2x4 is sitting on the top of each of my treads. This is going to make sure that we have a nice equal spacing. Then what you're going to want to do is grab 2 clamps. As you can see, this pre-assembled panel has a little bit of movement in. That's so you can adjust it depending on your stair angle. Not every set of stairs have the same angle. So simply rest this on top of that 2x4, and then what you want to do is you want to adjust this so that these balusters are straight up and down. So we can stick a level on and adjust it to where they're straight up and down. And right there, I have the correct angle. We want to make sure that we have the same spacing on the top and bottom. So I'm going to clamp this on, and then I can make micro adjustments after I've clamped it on. So as you can see, I've clamped the railing on to the posts, and I've got it so that the railing is perfectly plumb, which means we have the correct angle for these stairs. So again, I found that. I put the 2x4 on the nose of each of these stairs. I sat the railing on top, adjusted it till it was plumb, and then I clamped it on. The other thing you want to do is make sure you have equal spacing. So I've got the same spacing down here as I have at the top over here. So now that we have this where we want it, I'm going to show you an easy way to mark it. So we'll come to the back side of the railing. So what we want to do is grab a pencil, and we want to trace a line along the post onto this rail, and then grab your square, rest it against the bottom of the rail, and we want to transfer a line onto the post and a line for the railing. Now we're going to go around and do that on all 4 spots. And I like to place an X above. So the X above is where the hardware is going to sit for the railing. So I'm going to transfer all those lines. Here's what that looks like. I've got my railing that I took my pencil and I drew a line here, and then I came across at the bottom And using my square, I came up and drew a line along the bottom so that I have the bottom and the angle marked. I'm going to lay down the stair railing onto my sawhorses, and these lines that we drew, we want to cut. So if we cut directly on the line, this is going to be too tight to fit in when we add the hardware. So I'm going to come over approximately 1/4 of an inch from the line, and I'm going to cut 1/4 inch inward. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so that it can fit on there. So same as before, we're going to cut with our circular saw.
If you missed my previous video where I installed the railing on the deck, I explained that cutting these railings with a circular saw is a quick and easy way. You could also use a jigsaw, reciprocating saw, or grinder.
So when you buy that pre-assembled package of railing for stairs, you should get the hardware kit as well. This is what it looks like. It comes with 4 different brackets and a few different bags of screws. So I've already got one opened up here, and I'm going to explain to you guys how to install this. There's 4 different pieces. The pieces are all lettered. So they're lettered A, B, C, D. What we want is piece A goes down here, piece B is up top, C, and then D. So on our upper rail, we want B and D. On the lower rail, we want A and C. So here are my 2 pieces. This is B and D for the upper post. This is A and C for the lower post. So if you remember, we drew our lines across using our speed square for where the railing's going to fit. The next thing we have to do is we need to mark the middle of this railing so that we can screw these on to the middle. So we're going to grab our tape measure, and these posts are 2 inch wide. So we're going to make a mark at 1 inch, which is the middle, and then you can mark a vertical line. So to do this, I'm just using a small level, making sure that the bubble is in the middle, and I can mark my vertical line along the middle. This fancy square also has notches for 1 inch. So you can do this. If you don't have one of these fancy squares, you can simply mark it the way I just showed. Okay, and then the way that we're going to install these, the bottom hole on each of the hardware, so this hole at the bottom, we want it to line up with our vertical and horizontal cross. So we'll bring the camera in. It's going to be hard to show, but we got the bottom hole, and we want to place it right there. So we'll screw these into place, and I'll show you what it looks like with the railing all together. Okay, here's a look at the screws we're going to be using. They came in a bag. So I want to pre-drill this first hole. I'm doing it right at my horizontal and vertical cross. Pre-drilled that one. I'm going to pre-drill this top one as well. Okay. Now I'm going to grab letter B, and I am going to screw this bottom hole in. Okay, so I put the bottom screw in on that horizontal and vertical cross, and I've laid this out so that the top hole lines up with our vertical mark. Now I'm going to do the same thing with piece D. I'm going to line up this lower hole with the hole I pre-drilled. I'm going to try and bring the camera in and show you guys exactly where this line is. So okay, we've got that piece installed. So now I'm going to do the exact same thing over here. I'm going to pre-drill again on our cross. Okay, now I'm going to take piece A. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the bottom hole and line it up with that cross that we just pre-drilled. So I've got the... Okay, And then I'll do the same with the top. This is piece C. I'm going to line the bottom hole up with that cross we pre-drilled. Just like that. Okay, so I've got all the hardware mounted on my posts. The way I like to do it is I only put the one screw in to start. This way, if you've made a mistake, when you put your railing in, you won't have two holes that might be visible. So I like to only put the bottom screw in. That way I can test it. If it fits perfect, put the top screw in each of these. If not, you may have to adjust it. I've got the railing. So now that we've got the hardware cut, we should be able to slide this in. So let's start by getting the top, getting the bottom rail in, and then we can take our okay, so just like that, we've got the railing in on the top and bottom. As you can see, it fits in there perfectly. We're nice and plumb on both sides. So the last thing to do now, I'll remove it. I'll put the second screw in each of those, and then I'll show you how to put the caps on. Okay guys, so I went back, I put the second screw into each of these. That way, like I explained, we have them in the right spot now. So we've got the two screws into each of them. So we should have the covers. After we get our railing on, we're going to put these on. And we should also have some approximately 3/4 inch screws that we're going to use. So grab our section of railing. We are going to line it up in the brackets on this bottom post, and then for the top post, line it up, slide it in just like that. So now, as you can see, we've got holes here, and then here are these silver screws. So just like that. Then on the top, and then there's holes on the back side and at the top. Now that we've got the screws, tops and bottoms on both sides, we can take these cover pieces. So what this does, there's a clip on the back, we'll come in and show you. It allows you to have a little bit of adjustment where you can slide it in and click it down. That covers all the hardware. Just like that for the bottom side. And same process for the top side. All right, so as you can see, we've got the covers on. This is nice and solid. The last thing to do is to put the cover on the bottom. So make sure that everything is fully fastened down and you have 4 screws on. Sorry, 4 of the leg bolts onto each post. Then we can fit the bottoms on. And just like that, we've got a beautiful stair railing. All right, guys, just like that, we've got all the railings done. So we got this nice section on the deck, and then we have the stair railings as well. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section and I'll do my best to reply. I really do like these Peak railings. The aluminum looks sharp. They're priced really competitively. It's nice how all the parts come with the packaging. You don't have to buy parts individually. So I love the look of this, and I've been installing these now for a few years. They hold up awesome. So if you have any questions, leave them below. And I have all kinds of other home renovation tips and tricks on my channel.